across their over 40, plus year, history, Mario and Co have, gone on a lot of adventures, and inside adventures, they've used quite a, wide array of power-ups, and while some, of course are, you know, must-haves no matter what, others might as well be thrown in the trash, or even thrown into the same pit Bowser was. That's why we're gonna be ranking all of the main series, Mario power-ups here, like from, of course, worthless to elite, like in the second episode of Schmuck list ranking video thing. We'll work on the title. Without further ado, let's get started. And yes, I do me. Actually, before then, real quick shout out to, of course, like tiermaker.com, and of course Vinny P here for creating the base for this tier list. I had to add some extra images because some, like, a lot of powers were missing here, but, and of course the Mario wiki. I looked there to find what was missing, and yeah. First up, like the hammer from Donkey Kong. When you get it, you pretty much like you're set. Like, for it's temporary, but like, with it you can, pretty much destroy any, any obstacles or enemies that get in your way, on the way to the top. Like not something like too mind blowing, but at the very least, like, solid pick, like, And then, of course, the classic super mushroom. You get one of these, Mario grows bigger, can take an extra hit, and is able to, break through, blocks like the regular ones, like the brick blocks. Again, nothing crazy, and there's definitely a lot of other power-ups that are able to do the same plus more, but overall, another solid pick, I would say. Next up, the 2D flower. We have like the 3D one from the Galaxy games here, because while they're both similar, there are some key differences. For this one, of course, you could chuck out two of them, get rid of most enemies, you could spam them at Bowser, or even like some bosses, after a few hits they'll go down. Definitely comes in clutch. Now the Galaxy Fire Flower is kind of similar, but there are some key differences. Like, one, it's much slower, since you have to like shake the Wii remote, or I guess the Joy-Con, or like the button there. Like much slower comparison to like the 2D Fire Flower. It's like, you could pluck out two, and also this one only lasts for 20 seconds. RIP. And of course, since it's the Galaxy games, most levels aren't really relying on power-ups. So for the most part, it's just I don't want to say it's straight up straight up situation. Wait. Yeah, it kind of is. The star, this one's just the same thing, but it's from Galaxy. They kind of changed it up. The classic invincibility item. You get it, and for a couple seconds, any enemies that stand in your way, boop, you could kill them, and you're protected from most other objects like spikes, or the skewers. You only got to worry. Thing you really have to worry about, aside from the time running out, is like falling in poison, lava, or get bottomless pits, or getting crushed. All that said, though, there's definitely better options out. And of course, some games they let you store it. You can, like, especially, okay, maybe not like the New Super Mario Bros. Or 2, because that would be broken. Nah, it's kind of rare. I don't know. I kind of have to go mid, being honest. The 1-up mushroom. Get one of these, you get an extra life. In the older games, comes in clutch, but in the newer games, where either there are no lives, or they're so easy to get, not even with the cheese strats, like even just playing the game, it's kind of a joke. But overall, I would still say it averages out to still a solid pull. This, I think we all know why. But if you don't, in the Japanese version of Mario Bros 2, the one that we didn't get till years later, like it's like a major troll. Like it actually hurts you. Like if you're small Mario, you're dead. And if you're big or Fire Flower, you downgrade. And if you're playing 3D Land or the or Mario Maker 2, these things also chase you. No. Now this is the Super Ball Flower. It's meant to act similar to the Fire Flower, but this one, of course, like Mario Land on the Game Boy, hard rotations, like I think you can only throw one at a time, and instead of like hopping on the floor like as usual, like these things also balance on the ground, walls, and blocks at a 90-degree angle. And in Mario Maker 2, this can actually be quite useful, especially if you're trying to hit like get certain objects or like hit the on and off switch. I can't necessarily rank it as high as like the regular Fire Flower, of course, but like especially since with Mario Maker 2, I'd say solid pick. All right, the Tanuki leaf. I have for this tier list. This one's also gonna be the same one for New Super Mario Brothers 2, since they basically act the same. You get this, you get a running, and if you're able to run, enough, like you build up the P meter. That sounds weird. You're able to fly in the air for a bit, and until it runs. And aside from that, you're able to glide down slowly, and you're able to whack your tail to hit blocks and enemies. Like, and clutch. And it can definitely save you, quite a bit, like especially like if you know what you're doing. The P-wing is basically the same thing, like except for one level, you basically get the P meter is basically full the whole time. Like afterwards, it becomes like a regular Tanuki leaf, and and you can still if you get hit, you still lose it. But I don't know. Like I don't think I could really rank it that much. But the fact that you can basically bypass like entire levels with this, I'd still say first solid elite. The frog suit, this one, I don't know, like sure you get better swimming here and you can jump higher on land, but like since most of the game is on land, like actually moving and running around here is a little awkward. I almost forgot about this, but it was also in Mario Maker 2, where I think you could also run on top of the water. I think you can also. I think you can. I'm not sure. Not straight up. It definitely has more use than like, but I would still say kind of mid, especially since like thankfully it's not temporary. Now the Tanuki suit, like the original one, not the one from 3D Land, sorta. It's similar to of course, the Tanuki leaf, but with one key difference. It's that you press down, you turn it to a statue, which can not only act as like a sort of ground pound, but also gives you temporary invincibility, like from objects and enemies. Like, I don't know if I would say straight up elite, because like with the P-wing, I don't know, like I guess it could go either way, especially since this one, lasts for as long as you don't get hit or get another power up. I guess it could go either way. Not sure, but for the most part, I think it's probably at least a solid clutch. Now the Goomba shoe, in Mario 3, this is only in one level. Like it's still, I really have no idea why. Like because it's actually fairly useful. Like you can walk on things like spinies and not spinies. You could walk on like spikes or like the munchers, no problem. And then the Mario Maker games, like you can use this to jump on of course, the spinies. And there's also other versions too, like a big one that you can basically creates like a ground pound, the winged one, which gives you like a sort of flutter jump similar to Yoshi, and of course like the healed one that lets you break blocks. But we're not really gonna we're just gonna stick to the regular one, like for 3 and Mario Maker, like the basic one. Solid pick, solid pick. The hammer suit, this one is clutch, and I can actually see why it only was in Mario 3. I'm surprised Mario Maker didn't bring it in. Like yeah, like aiming the hammer is like it could be a little awkward since they're at an arch. But like these things are way stronger than your typical fire flower. And like if you're going against Bowser, I think you could take him out with like 6 of them or something like that, or 8. That said, I can't straight up pull it an elite since of course like but I'd still say it's at least on the same tier as the fire flower. And it's also since like usually this is like a late game one, since you don't really get these until like around World 6, whereas with the fire flower it's more common. Lakitu's Cloud, like basically if you defeat one of these, or I guess if you in Mario Maker, like you can basically fly around, also use things like certain powers like fire flowers for like I think 20 seconds or so after. I mean, given it's temporary, I can't necessarily put it up with like these, but still, like if you can get one of these, you're a good spot. If you're wondering why I have Yoshi here, I mean, I didn't add it was part of this original format, but in most mainline Mario games, he kind of acts as a power up. In Mario World, like you could pretty much take him into any level you want, aside from ghost houses or castles, and then and as for Mario Sunshine, Mario Wii, and U, like he has the signature flutter jump as well, but you can only use him for certain levels, and afterwards, oh, almost forgot, of course, Galaxy 2. Damn it, I almost forgot. How? Ugh. Anyway, yeah. And even in Galaxy 2, he also has like his own set of like sort of dedicated power-ups. We're not, for the purposes of this list, we're not going to be ranking those, but Yoshi as a whole, like, there's a reason why he's a staple character across the whole series and mainline Mario games. Forget dogs. Yoshi is man's best friend and a solid elite tier. Speaking of elites, this thing is pretty much a buffed, Super Leaf. Like it's way easier to control, like, like both, when it comes to like flying and like in the air, like you can stay up there for way longer, like if you rock the D-pad back and forth. And it's way easier to hit stuff like with the spin attack sorta. And of course, next up, the P balloon. It's kind of similar to Lakitu's Cloud, but I think we all know why. Like if you know anything about this power up, like Tubular, that one level. But I can't necessarily rank it as high since it's way rarer, and unlike the Lakitu's Cloud, like you can't use any other power-ups here. Like if you have a fire flower, you can't shoot fireballs as well. You can't ride around on Yoshi with it. You can't. Nah. I mean, then again, it's barely in any levels, and it's usually used for secrets. Next up, the carrot from Mario Land 2. Like, basically, it's another sort of, not necessarily a flying power-up, but basically, if you hold the jump button, like, you kind of bounce. Although I'm not sure why it also doesn't give you a higher jump, but whatever. The main thing, though, is, like, you can sort of, like, hover down, like float down slowly, by mashing the jump button. And if you do it fast enough, you could basically remain in the air for as long as you want. You can. And yeah. I can't really give it like clutch, but still at least a solid pick overall. And now we got the Mario 64 caps. Like all of these are like temporary, but we're gonna first up the wing cap, like the most iconic of the trio. Of course, you can like if you triple jump, you know, you can fly around, and then again, it's temporary, and the fact that like it's so like insane to like kind of control, like it definitely takes a lot. I don't know. Like I would still say it's overall like the most useful of the three caps, since you know there's gonna be more situations like in the game where you'd probably use it and more levels to have it. I think it averages out to at least a solid pick. Now the vanish cap, you basically you're basically vulnerable to enemies, and you can go through like certain like metal grates. You can, and you still retain your move set. Kind of mid. Metal cap, it's kind of like not only are you vulnerable to enemies, like if you run into them, like you destroy them. And he's also heavier, so like instead of like in the water, like you know you sink down, which can be useful like to activate like certain switches, or like get like red coins. Then again, it is like he's also heavier, so like you can't really jump as high. I don't know. And the Koopa shell, the Koopa, like you ride around in this, and like and you're able to run over things like lava, you know, or on top of like poison gas without being affected, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Oh, and you could also ride out on top of water as well. I can't remember if it's temporary or not, but like yeah, still solid pick. I have no idea why Flood is here. I would not class, but I guess if he's here, elite, I guess. Like especially considering how the depth perception in this game can be a little jank, and like how you know of course like for the majority of the game like you know you do use him a lot like in the like the different nozzles. I mean, where else could I put him? The Mega Mushroom. Like I'm sure you know like if you grew up around the 2000s, early 2010s, you know, like it was like, oh yeah, this thing, you grow big, nothing stands in your way, you could even destroy the flagpole. And, but this one is also kind of like a gimmick, like temporary, like especially since most levels in this game, you know, aren't really built for him. But then again, like if you're playing DS, like there's like special like item houses for specifically for the Mega Mushroom, which if you want to cheese the bosses, go ahead. Go ahead. Cheese the boss. But then in Mario Mario Bros 2, like New Super, it's barely there. Like at least in 3D Land, like it's not there, but in the levels that is in it, it is actually built around it. I wouldn't say it's like straight up situational. Like I'd say I mean I'm not really specific, you know, ranking like them within specific tiers, but I would say like top of mid, you know, borderline solid pick. Next up, the Mini Mushroom, which is the opposite of the Mega Mushroom. You grow smaller, which leads to a smaller hitbox, but of course, like if you get hit, you die, just like if you were small Mario. But while you're small, you know, you're able to jump higher. Have a floatier jump, like in descent, and you can run on water. And in New Super Mario Bros. U and Luigi, you can also run up walls. But then again, like most of the time, you're only really like, aside from challenge runs, you only really use it for like secrets and I don't know, like I guess top of situational, and of course the blue shell. Like you could duck down like a turtle, like it could defend you like from like enemies and certain obstacles. And if you run, like you go into the shell. You can use it to defeat like enemies, like break blocks, also to uncover secrets, and you also ricochet off walls, and it also gives you slightly better swimming underwater. Eh, I guess mid. Like, don't get me wrong, I do have a soft spot for it, but for the most part, like it can. There's definitely points where it could be more of like a nuisance, or than of actual help. Like especially like with the whole running thing, and you go into the shell like rather than like if you're just running and like you then push down. And of course we got Mario Galaxy, the bee mushroom. Thankfully this power up is not temporary, but what you could do is like you can sort of like float, like hover in the air for a little bit. You can stick onto honey, and of course you're able to like land on and stand on top of flowers. Downside is that if you get hit by, not even just by any of, like if you get hit by water, you lose the power up. You lose the, like mm. And then again, like keep in mind, like with Mario Galaxy like 1 and 2, like most of the power ups, like most levels are built to use like standard like vanilla Mario, or I guess Luigi. There are some like exceptions here. Mm, but yeah, most of them are definitely going in mid. And of course, we got the boom mushroom. Like use it like you can float around, like sort of fly much as you want. Like to other boos, like they won't go after you unless I guess you touch them or another enemy. Of course, you lose the power up. And if you shake the Wii remote, you're able to go invisible. Like get through like girders and whatnot. And of course, like if you get if you touch like a beam of light, you lose the power up. Sort of similar like to the vanish cap, but like I don't know. I might think that I think that one is actually a little better since you do retain your the same move set. Wait, did I already do the 3D fire flower? Oh, I think I actually got there twice. Speaking, but speaking of like we got the 3D ice flower. This is not the same as like that one. Like there, like you're able to run on. It's temporary, but you're able to like run on water. Create like ice platforms, and even over you can ice skate over it, even like with lava too. And I don't actually, I don't even think. Are you affected by ice like slippery? Actually, I don't think so. Like I'd actually be tempted to put this like at least bottom a solid pool. And then this thing. All that really does is like that's helpful is like you can like ground pound and you can jump up higher and I guess slightly better wall jumping but for the most part you lose a lot of your like your move sets and like moving around is way just slower. Not straight up worthless, but yeah, situational at best. Oh, the poor red star. How I want to love you so much. Like, practically the best flying, debatably the best flying power up in all of Mario history. Well, maybe some competition, but we'll get to that. But it's just barely used. Like, I'm sure, like, if you ever play Mario Galaxy 1 or 2, like, especially, like, looking at the box art, so, like, oh, you're able to fly around in space, and there's even a power up that lets you do that. But unfortunately, most of that is it's like pretty much like cutscenes with the warp star. And as for the red star, it's only in the first game, and it's barely used. Like, barely, pretty much being generous. It's only like what 2 or 3 levels or something. Just for you, just to be generous, I'll put it at top of mid, like borderline solid pick. Actually, we could put you in solid pick, like at least like control, debatably the best flying power up, even if it's also temporary. Way better, big improvement over the wing cap. I'll say that. I'll say. Next up, we got the propeller mushroom. Yep, you shake the remote or something like that. You zoom up, and able to slowly go back down, or even just spin down. Like, pretty simple. But the fact that you're able to like control like whenever you want that, it's quite useful. Like, and you can get yourself out of a sticky situation pretty neatly. What it's uh definitely a clutch. Now we got the 2D ice flower. It's kind of like a contrast between like the fire flower, with this like can't travel far, and there's more effort, but you can also use it to get rid of enemies you normally couldn't, like with dry bones, like by either ground pounding it or just grabbing the frozen block, and you could even use it to throw it at other things, get coins, like star coins, defeat other enemies, or even ride on top of it. And if you shoot it at an enemy, and it lands in water, like you could even jump on and use it as like a little mini platform. I would also say like clutch. Oh, this thing does the same thing, but you could slide down, break through blocks, even like maybe even get through some enemies. Like, you get way better swimming, and you're not affected by ice slipperiness. And there was also supposed to be a chicken suit. There was also planned to be a chicken suit that would have been the same thing, but for the fire flower for some reason. Why have this like the over here when this exists? I don't know. I mean, it's not as many levels like naturally, but after World 3, like most Toad houses also have it. Still elite. Yeah, it's like a combination between the ice flower, like I guess technically the blue shell, and the frog suit. Next up, Galaxy 2 with the spin drill. You shake the remote, you can dig through the ground, but in comparison to like these two, it's not in as many levels, and it's honestly more of a gimmick. Like, not necessarily worthless, but yeah, situational at best is the perfect way to describe it. Next up, the rock mushroom. You shake the remote, you pretty much turn into like a giant bowling ball, there. You're able to blast through a bunch of enemies, like, knock over like blocks and all that. But and you can get through pretty fast, but then again, in your rock form, it is pretty difficult to control. I'd say like around the blue shell is probably a good spot. And then this the cloud flower. It's not like your typical flying power up. What it does is like, you get 3 clouds that you shake the remote, and you could create like a temporary cloud underneath you that you can stand on. And you can actually be pretty like save you in a bunch of tricky situations, especially in the perfect like Grandmaster Galaxy and the perfect run. And on top of that, like you also get a floaty or jump. I like the set. I'd say probably like bottom of elite. Yeah. I know this, this one is technically meant for like the emblem of New Super Mario Bros. 2, but we're pretty much just gonna use this as like the 3D land / world version. It's like you get turned into like the Tanuki suit, but with one key difference: you can't fly with this one. Like you can still descend and like whack your tail, but aside from that, yeah, like I don't understand why they brought the Tanuki's leaf back. When they pretty much removed its main defining feature, and it's technically the Tanuki, like raccoon Mario in the raccoon suit, not like Mario with of course the raccoon ears and tail. Then again, I guess made Peter mad, which is hilarious. So I think it'd probably be fair to put a tier below. Same thing with like this one. You get it late after you beat the main game, like Bowser. It's basically the same thing, but you get the statue ability like from the Tanuki suit. Also solid pick. This thing though, oh boy, elite. Basically, after you die enough times, like in 3D Land, you get this, and it's basically God mode. It's the same as a regular Tanuki suit, and it's only really for one level. But from this, like, you can kill any enemies that touch you, and it can also protect you from, like, from a lot of obstacles like skewers and whatnot, and spikes. Next up, the propeller box. It's pretty similar to the propeller suit, but this time, like, you can also combine it with something like the Tanuki suit, and you can still whack people with it and slow your descent. I'm not sure if you could also you combine it with something like the fire flower or the propeller flower, but and I guess there's also the key thing that you can only use it like once you beat the level, you can't take it with you, unfortunately. So I can't put it up in clutch, but at least like a top a solid pick. I can't. I guess. Similar to the ice flower, this thing is kind of like similar to the fire flower, but instead like you throw like a single boomerang. You can hit multiple enemies, and other objects like switches at a time. You can like and of course if you jump over it, like it goes back and forth, back and forth. Like, of course we'll use those to collect coins like star medals or the green stars in 3D World. Like it may not be as like I guess like if you're just looking to straight up kill enemies, it may not be like as useful, but like the extra utility there with being able to collect stuff or hit things like on and off boxes or the ones like in there in Mario Maker or whatnot, at least solidifies clutch. The gold flower, you're not invincible with it, and you only get it for one level. Afterwards, it's regular fire flower. But the fact that you could store this and you get way stronger fireballs like that, like they're stronger, have a larger blast radius. Like you can easily, kill Bowser like in the first part with like 2 hits or something like that. You can easily, and cheese all the bosses too. You can. like, and most of every level. Most of, and the 2D white Tanuki suit. Do I even need to explain this one? Next. All right, the acorn suit. Like this one, you can glide, hold on to like latch onto walls or blocks, and of course, like you can also get like a little burst of air that could save you, or if you need to get to higher ground, you need to get to higher. Like I'd argue it's a similar level to like the propeller suit. Like not sure which. It could probably go either way. Now the P wing, you're not invulnerable. I don't know if I could straight up put it in. It's like yeah, it's akin to the white Tanuki suit, but definitely more toned down. Like you're not invincible with it, but of course, that little burst of air that I was talking about, like you could do it as many times as you want, and of course you could store these. Whereas with the white Tanuki suit, like in 3D Land or NSMB2, you can't really do that. I'd say like top of clutch. The Boost Star, this one's only exclusive to the Wii U versions of Mario Luigi U, and you also need the gamepad. But once you do, like you build up the boost meter, you get this thing. You can like you can kill enemies, like hit blocks. You have to get coins. Yeah, definitely situational. Like hell, you need like at least 2 people, like just to even use it. Like I wouldn't say straight up worthless, but definitely kind of pushing it. Next up, the cat bell. Turn into a cat. You can scratch things, climb on walls, do a little pounce attack. You could do like a little pounce attack, that kind of thing. And if you're in the air, like if you know what you're doing, like there's tricks to like keep yourself in the air. Like if you know you're skilled enough, like I probably, but definitely comes in clutch. This thing is probably on a similar level. It's similar to the statue leaf, where like here you turn into a statue, but when you ground pound, like like as you're falling down, you also get some extra coins. So I guess that's something. Can't really. Wouldn't say it's enough to put it in elite or much higher than the cat bell, but yeah. And the double cherry, like you get an extra hit point and an extra version of you that's able to do all the same things you can do. Problem is that like you can't really carry the extra clones with you level to level, and for the most part, it's just kind of used for like of course getting secrets like the green stars. But it can also be kind of fun, like trying to see like try to keep all of them alive, to the end of the level. Actually, I'd probably say like if any one of these like level exclusive, I don't know. Bottom a solid pick. Next up, the cannon box. Similar to the propeller box, but like it shoots out cannonballs, and you can use it like of course on enemies like to destroy like boxes and whatnot, for extra secrets, and you can also use it to like hit like things like the on and off switches, and like of course if you get hit like you lose it, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. And of course you can also combine it with things like the Tanuki leaf, like the Tanuki suit. You can. I'd say it's on the same level as like the propeller box. And we got the Goomba skate thing. It's barely even any levels, and like I guess if you're trying to move around on ice faster, sure, but you only really need, and you could also I guess like plow through enemies, but of course if you hit a wall you lose it. Sorry. Now this one, pretty much, like the only thing it's really used for, like aside from lighting areas, which for the most part, like in 3D land, like it's, I mean, I guess 3D world, like it's not, the areas it's in aren't even that dark. Like you can, I get, yeah, you can kill boos with it, but for the most part, like it's not like you really get. Like, of course, cause Star could do that. White Tanuki suit. It's obviously still better than the poison mushroom, but that's not really saying much. And but don't worry, these two won't be alone for long. It's a cool concept, like like tricking the enemies into thinking you're one of you, but it's literally only in 2 levels, and for the most part, like you're better off just killing them, or like avoiding them anyway. Now we got the Mario Maker stuff, starting with what was it? The Buzzy Beetle helmet. Like even a small Mario, you can use it to like break blocks, and like the regular brick ones, and you could also use it to defend yourself, like against the against things like the thwomps. Like at the very least, like solid pick. Eh. The spiny helmet basically does the same thing, but you can basically break through any block, not just the regular brick ones. You could also use it to, even like to kill other enemies that you normally couldn't. And you could also use it to protect yourself. I guess like something like Hammer Bro, like like throws. So I'd say it's worth putting it a tier above it in clutch. Doesn't really matter that much. The clown car, like definitely a buffed version of the Lakitu Cloud. Similar thing, but you don't. It's not like temporary. Clutch, and the fiery one, like it's the same thing, but like you could shoot out like fireballs. You can charge one up, and if you have the fire flower, it actually shoots out 3, both regular and charged. Next up, we got the big mushroom. Keep in mind, this one can only be used in like the Mario 1 style, but like here it is, like you get like big Mario, not like right like Super Mario, like big Mario, big. And you could like break through like pretty much any sort of block as well. There's larger hitbox, and I think you could also use it to wait. Let me check. What does this one do again? Like I said. Yeah. Brick blocks, ice blocks, question blocks, R blocks. And in Mario Maker 1, I think you'll get a CRT filter. Definitely an improved version of like the Mega Mushroom, sort of. But since it's only limited to one style, can't really give it much of a, I guess, like solid pick. And then there's this thing. you pretty much get some Mario 1 style. You pretty much get Waluigi's like body proportions and Luigi's physics. Like you can jump higher, but also like less traction, more slippery. Like I guess roughly solid pick as well. And I don't have it here, but there's also I guess the mystery mushroom. It's pretty much the same thing as a regular mushroom, but like you still remain like getting an extra hit point, able to break through blocks, but instead you still have the same hitbox size as small Mario, and you can usually like if you have like it's like gives you like an amiibo costume or something like that. It would I don't have it here, but if I did, like it would probably go similar like to the regular mushroom, like solid pick. I swear I didn't put Cappy here. It's a similar thing to Flood. But because he's, like, how useful he is, like, debatably even more so than Flood, also going in Elite. Sure. We don't talk about this one. We don't. The only top of situational. Let's move on. We don't. We got Mario Maker 2 now, like the dry bone shell. Like it acts similarly to the Goomba shoe, but here you can also use it to ride on top of lava or poison. Wait, and it could also has a similar effect to like this. Well, the sort of the statue that like you can basically like turn into like how you jump on a dry bones and it becomes like a pile of bones. It's like that, and you're temporarily invulnerable like to enemy or or obstacle attacks, that kind of thing. Of all the like debatably even more so useful than like the spiny one, but I'd say it's around similar, like maybe a little higher. You got Builder Mario. With this you get a hammer. You could of course attack enemies, break through blocks, and of course you can even throw like other like boxes on top of it, like to get to higher areas, or you can use it to like traverse on top of lava or poison. Though keep in mind it's exclusive, of course, like to the 3D world style. But like considering how much utility there is, I'm at least tempted to. Like at least bought him a clutch. And now you got the Mario Maker 2 version of the P balloon, which is a vast improvement. Like here, you got. It's not limited time. Lasts for as long as you have it, and you can sort of like I guess sort of fart your way around. That sounded wrong. Like basically like blow your way around like at your own speed. Okay, I swear that probably sounded worse. Let's just. And now we got the bullet bill, like box thing. Like you're in the air, and you can like dash forward like a little bit, can save you from like falls, like enemies and certain levels like usually made for like you can provide some neat obstacles. Because keep in mind with Mario Maker, like the usefulness of items mostly depends on like the level it's built around. But still, at least a solid pick. Like even if this were like in a regular Mario game. And next, speaking of the Mario Bros 2 mushroom, like you got like give you Mario Bros 2 physics, like instead of which if you don't know, like instead of jumping on enemies to defeat them, you can jump on top of them, pick them up, and throw them at others. Same thing for like a lot of other like objects, like cannonballs, like bullet bills. And of course, like you can throw them at enemies. You can throw them at things like the switch blocks. Honestly, I kind of wish there was like a new Mario game that had these physics, or at least like this kind of power up. It'd be awesome, but for the time being, clutch. And speaking of playing like other characters, the Master Sword, you basically turn into Link. You can throw bombs, shoot arrows. You can use your shield to defend yourself from enemies or stuff like spike balls, like even bounce them back. You can charge up like a shield dash attack. You know, get like a sort of ground pound. Like what more could you ask for? What? What's not delete? Actually, if I guess if we are technically, I'd probably put yeah, Cappy and Cloud Mario. I mean, I guess we're not really organizing it, but may as well, I suppose. Well, we got some more power-ups to do. We're almost at the end. The Giga Bell from Bowser's Fury. Like, this one is like cool. Like, you basically like a kaiju level fight with Bowser, but for the most part, you really don't need it. Like aside from I guess like opening up new areas like by defeating him, or I guess if you're doing the final boss, like most of the time you could just get rid of Bowser like by collecting one of the cat shines. You can. I mean, then again, you're more likely to encounter it, and it is more useful, but it can't really go. Actually, I'd probably say it's similar level to the Mega Mushroom, like at least top of mid. And last but not least, for now at least, we got the Mario Wonder power up, starting with the elephant apple. I mean, I guess it's a solid pick. I honestly thought this one would do a little more, but it's a little underwhelming. Like yeah, you have a bigger hitbox, like the enemies and all that. You got your trunk attack. They like attack enemies, like hit stuff, and of course like you use water as some of your trunk. They could use to like stun enemies or like flowers, but I don't know. I just figured there would have been more, like maybe like if you were to ground pound, like it would create like a mini shockwave or something, or maybe like a charge attack, like to get rid of some enemies in front of you for a little bit. A charge attack. Next up, the bubble flowers. It operates kind of similar to like the blue baby Yoshi from NSMBU. Like you blow bubbles, and like they can use to not only get rid of like most enemies, but you could also use this like to like bounce off of them and reach higher areas. Maybe get some coins from it. And you could also get some like insane strats, especially like speed runs if you're really good with it. So just like most of the other flowers, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure if I could say straight up clutch, but I would say at least I guess solid pick. And last but not least, the drill mushroom, which is pretty much what the drill thing wishes it was. Like of course you could drill into the ground, like avoid enemies, get coins, even reach secret areas, but it could also like go into the ceiling. And of course like the ground pound, like you could like defeat enemies. Maybe wait, can you break blocks? Actually, I don't know, but like you can also like if you're in there, like you can press the jump button, like it'll like activate like a sort of thing that can protect you from enemies or whatnot coming from above. Honestly, my favorite power up from Mario Wonder, like both old and new. And this might be just like me saying it, but we might as well put it atop a clutch. Anyway, that's all of them. I think if I missed some, let me know. I don't know. I didn't count the ones from 64, like not 64, like 64 DS. Since I'm not really like that one's a remake. I don't know. If maybe in the future we could do like a revised one and include them, but for now, like it's already been a little while. This is my full list. Here you go. Again, shout out to Vinny P for creating the initial like template. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, like hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, like leave a comment, about what you like, what didn't like, thing I should change, add on. And like additionally, if you like if you want more, like check out my Twitter, Twitch, my second YouTube channel, and you can even leave a little tip through Ko-Fi. All of this is appreciated, and you can find links to all of these in the description below. Anyway, have a good day, night, whatever, and always remember, my friends, the real schmucks are the friends that we made along the way.